All right. Really excited for today. This is, an incredible opportunity for guys that have gone through our program to, fulfill a lifelong dream of pursuing their dreams and aspirations of playing in the NFL, and an opportunity to do it in front of a group like this is something that we're all really excited about. Won't touch on every single guy that's participating today, but the one thing that I will say about this group has proven to be a resilient group that's done incredible things here at their time at Northwestern, whether it be as a transfer that came in and left a huge impression and legacy on their time here at Northwestern, or were here for 4 or 5, in some cases 6 years. This group embodies what it looks like to be a great teammate, what it looks like to persevere through difficult situations. It's a group that, did not find the results last season that they may have wanted, but stuck together and, still have so much to be proud of. Excited for these guys to compete. They've done a tremendous job. I mean, some of these guys have trained here locally. Others have gone all over the country training for this opportunity. But to see what these guys have done in preparation for Pro Day is really, really impressive. As a program, we've just completed our 6th spring ball practice this past Saturday. Really excited about the progression that our current football team is making as we move towards the 2025 season. Still a lot of work to be done, but there are certainly some elements within the program in all 3 phases that have us really excited about the depth within our program, the competitive depth, and where we're trending as a football team right now.
Coach, what does it mean as a coach when you see this group of guys competing for a chance at the next level?
Yeah, I think it's just it's a special day. At the end of the day, anyone that has had an opportunity to go on and play college football, and I'll use myself as an example, just played Division II football, but I'd be lying to you if I told you that, as a junior in college, I still didn't have dreams and aspirations of finding a way to play in the NFL. I mean, every single young man that I sit down with in recruiting, when I talk to them about their goals and aspirations, different individuals will name it at different times, but everyone at some point talks about, having a dream of playing in the NFL someday. And this is kind of that, that next step, pursuing that dream and then having an opportunity to put your talents on in full display of a bunch of NFL scouts and NFL organizations. It's an exciting day, and I'm so proud of this group, the way that they've worked, the way that they've stuck together, the way that they've persevered. Excited for them to go out and compete today.
Coach, what would an NFL team be getting AJ?
Gosh, a lot of incredible things, but first off, a competitor, and I don't think there's any more. I think what really stands out to me about AJ these last 2 seasons, but specifically this last season, the competitiveness showed up in his durability and his consistency. AJ only missed 1 practice all of last year. Fall camp, throughout the season, got a little dinged up in the Wisconsin game, was back on Tuesday for practice, back out and ready to roll against Iowa. Like, just the competitive juice and demeanor that he possesses, I think showed up in his, unrelenting desire to show up and practice every day. And, it showed up in his willingness to go back and, as a punt returner, his willingness to receive the ball, whether it be on jet sweeps or on the perimeter in the screen game, his ability to be position flexible, at different spots within the offense. A competitor, high football IQ, and the ultimate teammate are the things that really stand out to me about AJ.
Coach, one person who isn't out here physically today is Bryce. What were your conversations with him after the injuries? He just tries to figure out what he wants to do for this Northwestern.
Number one was just absolutely crushed for Bryce. I don't think there was a single individual within our program that was not devastated to get the news of Bryce's injury. Again, I think Bryce is someone else that, you talk about his competitive spirit, his willingness to come back last year as a Cat, what he was able to produce throughout the year last year and continue to compete even in times of frustration at times. And to see him go down like that in his last game as a senior, to be honest with you, as a coach, you couldn't think of any worse scenario for one of your players. the thing that's been really exciting about seeing Bryce in these recent weeks is how upbeat he is, how committed he is to continuing to pursue his dream of playing in the NFL. He looks great. He's put on some really good lean muscle mass. Sam Mulford, our NFL liaison, was talking with all the scouts today about Bryce's desire to come back and participate in Pro Day this time next year. And I'm really excited for Bryce to pursue that. I mean, if you see him walking around the facility right now, you can tell it's a young man on a mission and someone that is fully committed to pursuing that dream.
Do you expect him to be around the program in some sort of capacity for the next year while he prepares for the NFL journey?
I don't know, but if that's something he'd be open to, we'd be thrilled to have him around. I mean, just he was a captain for a reason, huge component of our leadership over the course of these last couple years, and is always a positive influence around here.
Coach, one player I wanted to ask about is Ryan, obviously a starter before you got here, and then kind of more of a leadership role the last 2 years. What's been your relationship with him since you got to Northwestern, and what do you think he can bring to a team at the next level?
Yeah, Ryan Helinski. Yeah, no, the relationship with Ryan has been something that has been really special. I know for Ryan, in terms of his time on field and his production on the field and his opportunities that he had these last couple of years were not how he wanted his last couple of years to go. But his desire and willingness to say, you know what, I've always dreamt of playing in the NFL. I certainly have the arm talent to do it. I want to prepare myself to put on, show up at Pro Day and compete with my teammates and give this thing one last shot is something I'm really proud of Ryan that he made the decision to do that. In terms of the things that NFL organization would be getting, they'd be getting someone that is extremely passionate about the game of football and, high-end arm talent. At the end of the day, we saw it with Ryan even last year, in the Iowa game. I mean, came in, we're down by multiple scores, we're tempo and we're throwing the ball all over the place, and, he caught fire there for a little bit. The arm talent that Ryan possesses is something that really stands out, and given an opportunity to get in the right system and get comfortable, Ryan's someone that has proven that he can excel at the highest levels of college football, and why couldn't he carry that over into NFL organization? I'm excited for him to put that on display today.
Pardon the big picture question, around the sport, people are getting rid of spring games. I think Deion said yesterday he'd love to scrimmage somebody. I don't think that's legal right now, but where do you see it going, and what's your view on what it should be?
Yeah, I think everyone has varying opinions on it. There's so much going on in the landscape of college football right now with the transfer portal and how different people or different programs navigate that. What I can tell you at the end of the day, spring ball is a time that it's your ultimate task as a coach to get your team, to develop your team and start progressing towards getting your team ready for the upcoming season. And at the end of the day, in all my experience around spring games have been opportunities to engage the fan base. They've been an opportunity for some of your younger players to be put in front of a larger audience, to kind of under the bright lights, to perform, not in just a practice setting. And I think in some way, shape, or form, you still need to find ways to do that. When we come back for our last 9 practices of spring ball, we will have 2 scrimmages that will not be open to the public. But they will be highly competitive, and it's going to be an opportunity for us to really evaluate our entire roster. And we will have an opportunity in practice 15 to open up practice to our fans, and we're excited to engage our fans. Do I see that as an official spring game? No, but it will be an opportunity for us, especially for our young guys, to get out and get into scrimmage-type format where they'll get a sense of what it's like to play in front of a bigger crowd. So a lot of different ways to do it. I know there's a lot of programs that are scaling back their number of practices that they're utilizing in the spring right now. We don't have that luxury. Being a developmental program, we got 99 guys on the roster right now in spring ball. They're competing their butts off, but we got to keep pushing and keep bringing this team along.
Scaling down is a direct result of NIL and of, hey, if we're going to pay this guy this much money, we can't have him popping a hamstring in the spring practice.
Yeah, no, it certainly could be. It certainly could be. And, the one thing that I've really wrestled with this over the course of the last few months, but the thing that I think our team, our leadership, and all of us have embraced is we got to push. Like, we got to push for development. We're coming off a frustrating season in 2024, And we're not going to get better by scaling back or, being fearful of, what could happen. We got to find ways to get better. And to our guys' credit, we were able to get out on Saturday, have a really good competitive go where we had some live tackling, and I feel like our team right now feels like we are pushing and we're challenging the team, holistically and collectively as a whole, and we're finding ways to get better. And that's something that has to carry on in our last 9 practices when we get back from spring break.
Hey, Coach, what are your impressions of Preston Stone so far?
Yeah.
The offense, and how are you dividing snaps right now on the quarterback?
What I will say is I'm really excited about the entire quarterback room. I think there's really good competitive depth right now between Preston, between Jack Lausch, between Ryan Bowe. I've been very impressed with Preston's ability to come in and pick up a new offense and seem comfortable. Anytime that a quarterback transitions into a new offense, there tends to just be a time of adjustment. Ben Bryant maybe even experienced that a little bit when he came in prior to the 2023 season. But Preston's ability to come in and feel comfortable within the offense and process and get the ball out of his hands quickly has been something that's really stood out to me. Jack Lausch right now, he's balancing baseball, he's balancing football. I don't know if there's anyone else in the country that could be doing what Jack Lausch is doing right now, but Jack Lausch is playing his best football that I've ever seen him play. And I think some of it is Jack's just showing up and having fun and playing the game that he enjoys. It's a year for him that he's been within the offense for over a year now. But he's got a lot going on. He's showing up. He's not putting a bunch of pressure on himself. He's just enjoying the game and going out and competing. And the development that we've seen out of Ryan Bowe, Ryan's going through some ups and downs right now, as any young quarterback would. But some of the flashes that we're seeing out of Ryan Bowe gives us a lot of excitement about where that quarterback room is going to be in good hands for a long while.
So do you have someone having first team, second team reps, or third? Like, how are you dividing it up?
Yeah, we haven't named a starter and we won't, but Preston and Jack are getting reps with the ones. Ryan's getting a bunch of reps with the twos.
Coach, your birthday with 10 players here at the Pro Day, but a few weeks ago, Northwestern was just one of 2 schools, Big Ten schools, to not have a player at the NFL Combine. Are those conversations you have as a program about how to improve the pro feasibility of Northwestern?
Yeah, I wouldn't say those are direct conversations that we're having, but I can tell you right now, Caleb Tiernan, I'd be shocked if he wasn't at the Combine next year. Anto Saka, I'd be shocked if he wasn't at the Combine next year. Some of the things I'm seeing out of Preston Stone right now would tell me that he's got a chance to play football beyond his college years. I think when you get into a mode where you're chasing after that, I think you get caught up in a situation where you're not focused on things you need to focus on. What we do need to make sure is that when guys arrive in this program, whether it's as a 18-year-old or as a transfer, what are we doing to help them develop to their fullest potential? And those are the things that we can control. And I look forward to having a strong representation of Northwestern football at the Combine next year.
What have you seen about the offensive line configuration so far in spring camp, and what about the position as a whole?
Yeah. We got a lot of work to do, but really excited about the competitive depth that is in that room right now. I mean, last spring ball this time, we were sitting here and we had 7 guys participate in spring practice with the offensive line. Right now, we've been around 11. Still got some guys that are coming off of injury from the season, but really excited about the competitiveness that's showing up in that room. Caleb Tiernan is playing at a whole new level. I mean, had a tremendous year last year, but the progression he's continued to make is really, really exciting. You're starting to see some maturing out of some of the younger guys in that group. And then some of the transfers that we've brought in, specifically in Evan Bernstein, a competitive piece from an FCS program that, he's rotating with the twos, he's rotating with the ones. He knows he's got to earn his opportunity, but you're just starting to see some growth in that room. Deuce McGuire out of Marist has done a tremendous job. I could, played for us I think started for us for 2 games last year, played a little bit against Wisconsin and Purdue, but the progression that he's made, really excited about. So the job that Bill O'Boyle has done in terms of the fundamentals and the technique and the investment that he's put in these guys this offseason has been really fun to see. And then the hiring of Ryan Olson as our run game specialist, that's really come in. Ryan's come in to assist OB, and essentially we've created an environment where we have, two high-end coaches working with our offensive line. Ideally you'd like to have 18 to 20 guys in that room. Well, what are you doing to support those guys? And the job that Bill O'Boyle has done, and then the addition of Ryan Olson, really excited about where that group's trending right now. Like you see a different level of play in our offensive line right now in this spring ball compared to where we were at last year. And it's a credit to the guys in that room. It's a credit to the coaching, and it's also a credit to the fact that the guys have been in the system for over a year now.
Coach, speaking of that, how much of an advantage is bringing a guy like Evan or Griffin in from South Dakota State, who were in Coach Lujan's offense, to help build kind of those nuances that maybe they learned in South Dakota State to the guys who were only for a year last year here?
Yeah, I think it's one of those things, you don't bring guys in because they had previous relationship with Coach, but I do think it helps their transition just because the familiarity to the terminology. And then also, to be very honest with you, those relationships were probably reasons why we had the opportunity to get those guys here, like the previous relationship that they had with Coach Lujan. So really impressed with the way that those guys have come in and competed. Every single transfer that we brought in this year, it was very clear to everyone involved, no different than what we tell our entire program. Like, nothing is given, everything is earned within this program. And those guys have stepped in and said, you know what, I'm not, there's no handouts here, Evan knew that he was someone that we really wanted to get in our program, but first day of spring ball, he's going out there and rolling with the twos. If he's going to earn a starting spot, just like anyone within our program, he's going to have to earn that opportunity. But the terminology carryover and the consistency is certainly something for a guy like Evan and Griffin that is going to help their transition.
And just to follow up on that, how big of an advantage is it this year compared to last year, just being able to have these transfers in spring ball and get these reps early instead of trying to meld this team together in fall camp and like so many weeks into the game day?
I'm sure this is going a little bit further than even your question, but I am so excited about the progress that we're making as a program. When the last time that we had an opportunity to talk, I mentioned the landscape of college football is flipping on its head. Like, we have to reimagine everything. We have to evaluate everything. There's a lot of things that have been going on within our program that I've had to tell our staff, in chaos, there's opportunity. We have to check our egos at the door. We have to get to work. The work that Mark Jackson has done, the work that Central Campus and admissions in terms of their willingness to work with us to get some of these transfers in prior to the winter quarter starting has been critical to this team's development. The work that Jacob Schmidt has done with True and You and our collective, just an absolute game changer. The work that Luke Valerius has done in terms of, I think we're up to 12 transfers that we've been able to bring in, either started here in winter quarter or we'll start with here in spring quarter at the beginning of April. We got a lot of work to do. But where we're at as a program today compared to where we were at a year ago, I couldn't be more excited. And there's been a lot of hard work that's gone into that and a lot of things behind the scenes, starting off with Mark Jackson's leadership. But, it's also people on campus and, people outside the program. Again, like I said, the work that Jacob Schmidt has done through the collective to get us in this situation is something that I'm really proud of.
Hey, Coach, you mentioned the 12 transfers coming in. Do you have any needs identified moving forward? Do you still think you need some?
That's something we'll continue to evaluate as we go through our last 9 practices. To be honest with you, we knew that there was potentially some depth, at the corner position. Really excited to have Ori coming back and Josh Fussell and, Evan Smith. There's some guys that played a lot of football for us, but depth at a corner position is always something you're concerned about. The addition of, Fred Davis was huge for that. As of right now, I feel like we're in a really good spot, but it's something that we got to continue to evaluate. And then we just got to be honest with ourselves. At the end of the day, if there's areas on our roster that we don't feel are in alignment with us competing to win, 5, 6, 7, 8 games in the Big Ten. Like, if it doesn't align with that, then we got to find a way to go address that post-spring ball. But, again, where this team's trending right now, humble, hungry, a team that's starting to come together, really excited about where this group's at right now.
Coach, you've got several captain caliber and leader level players that are out there today, but the scouts are just going to see the on-field drills. How do you express the leadership traits and what those players have meant to the program, kind of selling your guys, if you will?
Gosh, again, not fair to everyone that'll be participating today, but, someone that just really stands out to me is Xander Mueller. Again, captain, the way that Xander operates, like at the end of the day, I can say this boldly. If you bring Xander Mueller into your organization will be better simply because he's a part of it. He's going to carry himself like a pro, high football IQ. He's going to be team first. He's going to check his ego at the door. He's going to be heavily involved in special teams. He's going to, do whatever he's asked. And I think Xander is someone that I'm pointing out, but, everyone within that group that's participating in today, you could say, has some similar qualities as well. Excited for Sean McLaughlin to have an opportunity to compete today. Sean's been someone that's really persevered through a lot of injuries throughout his career, but he's looks better than he's ever looked before, coming back off of training. I think there's a reason NFL organizations consistently come back. It's been like this for a long, long time. NFL organizations know that if they get a young man out of Northwestern football, they're going to be getting a young man of high character, intelligent, hardworking, team-first oriented, and at the end of the day, someone that, when they're a part of their organization, is extremely disciplined and accountable.
Coach, what's this place preparing for the revenue share era? We got guidance of how much this money's going to football if Northwestern's giving all $20.5 million a year.
What I have absolute confidence in, Matt, is like as an institution, we are fully committed to doing this as good as anyone in the Big Ten in terms of our commitment, to moving into this new landscape. And there's a lot that goes into that, but what I have absolute confidence in is that we're going to be in the fight on this from a revenue share standpoint, and going to be there's a plan for us to be doing as good as anyone in the Big Ten. I think the thing that we're going to have to be very aware of in the new landscape is how can we maximize opportunities. The term NIL has been a very loosely used term over these last few years. Now that it's going to revenue share and the House settlement settles on April 7th and we have parameters to work from there, I'm really excited about where we're at institutionally with Mark's leadership and campus working through all that. Very confident that we're going to be in a great place to compete in the Big Ten. The new landscape of NIL, in terms of what NIL is and the clearinghouse that comes along with that, that's where I think we need to continue to be creative to provide opportunities for our guys to, create opportunities beyond the revenue share for themselves. As I know, a lot of the programs that we're competing in the recruiting landscape are going to be leveraging that as much as they possibly can.
Last one.
Coach, wasn't me just to get Kevin Carter back for a minute.
Oh, gosh. It's a big deal. I mean, it starts with their leadership, right? I mean, just the way that those guys operate, but also the production. So excited to have both those guys back. And if you were to see the way that those guys operate in the offseason, the way that they lead their team, you would know why it's so critical for us to have those guys back. The one thing I will say about this football team right now, I've already mentioned it, but very humble, very hungry. But the way that our overall leadership within our football team and our leadership council has been operating this offseason, you got a leadership group on this football team that has kind of taken the bull by the horns and said, what we experienced last year, we're not going to allow that to happen again. And the way that our guys have navigated this offseason has been really, really impressive. We still got a lot of work to do, but the fact that we got Carmine and Cam Porter coming back, 2 returning captains, is a great starting point for all of that.
Thanks, Coach.
Thanks, everyone.